Guys, it's your boy D Valor back on boxing. This is a picture of James the Gale, and just look at the state of him. This was after he fought Badu Jack, and he looks, to be honest, he looks fucked up. Look at just what is going on. Look at his lips, lip bust, lip dry. What's that white stuff on it? Look at his cheek. Got cut, bruises on his eyes, blood dripping down from his forehead. What's his tongue doing? Is it covering? I heard he got his teeth knocked out. There's another picture of him with his teeth knocked out. Badu Jack really messed him up. And just look at his eyes. Look at that look. He looks really punch drunk, man. He really got beat up in that fight. So that was against Badu Jack. That was his last fight, and it was a draw. If you didn't watch that fight, it was very interesting, very exciting. James the Gale started off the fight very fast. He was outboxing and outmaneuvering Badu Jack, and it was very promising. I thought if he carried on like that, then he would be able to. That would have been like a unanimous decision, because he was really outworking Badu Jack and making Badu Jack look like a really slow. But he got into a war, he got into a fight, and this was the result of it. He got beat up and dropped in the 12th round. So a lot of people were thinking that Badu Jack deserved to win that fight, but it was a draw, and it's done. Decision was made, it's done. But James the Gale now is shouting out GGG. It seems like a lot of fighters, every fighter is calling out GGG now. There was a time when nobody even wanted to fight him, but now everybody seems to want a bit of him. As I said in my last video, Billy Joe Saunders was calling out for that WBO belt and for the unification fight. You've got James the Gale calling him out. You've got Eubanks calling him out for what reason, I don't know. You've got Kell Brook saying that he knocked the stuffing out of him, and you've got Canelo, who should have fought instead of Kell Brook, and then you've got obviously Daniel Jacobs, who wants a rematch. Everybody is calling out GGG at the moment, but James the Gale says that he usually fights at 168. He's had his whole career fighting at 168, and he says he would go down to 160 to fight GGG. Now, why I say that that's not a good decision and that's probably not going to happen is because GGG should have fought Canelo instead of Kell Brook back then. If he's not going to fight Billy Joe Saunders after he won a robbery to Daniel Jacobs, if he's not going to fight Daniel Jacobs for a rematch, then he's going to want to put all his money on, especially his team, Tom Loeffler, are going to want to bide their time and not take any more risks and try and prepare and be ready for Canelo if that fight can be really arranged. Because apparently there's like they offered him 15 mil back in the before when he fought Kell Brook, and I know he didn't fight Kell Brook for that much money, maybe like 5 mil, something like that. So money, he's had, the last 2 fights he's had weren't massive money deals compared to what kind of money was on the table for Canelo. But money's not everything, and money's not the deciding factor in a lot of things. In fact, it is. People say money makes the world go round, and as an elite boxer, you do think about the money, because at the end of the day, it can be life-changing. £1 million is different from £200, definitely. £200 might buy you a pair of trainers. £1 million, you could even retire, buy yourself a house, whatever. You know, so these elite fighters, you could say they're sport for choice in terms of the people that they can fight. They can actually decide on figures when it comes to opponents. But anyway, James the Gale is saying that he wants to fight GGG. But I personally don't think it's a good idea. I think he's got balls for saying that he wants to fight him, but then now every fighter is shouting him out. He even said that he would go up to 172 to fight Andre Ward. But I don't think that would happen either, because Andre Ward is still tied in with Kovalev and that rematch, and he's even talking about retiring. So I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Excuse me. But yeah, so there's loads of things going on between the middleweight division. He even says that he walks around at about 170, which is a stone above 14 pounds. So that's he walks around at normally. So if he was to fight GGG, he'll be coming in, blowing up, rehydrating to Lord knows whatever. I don't know what way he'll go into there. Because if he fights at 168, he'll probably fighting at 170 when he's actually there. You know what I mean? Or even above that. So if he fought GGG, he'll be fighting him big. But my thing to that is, it's not just about size, because Daniel Jacobs blew up to whatever. He might even be going in there 180, because he was supposed to weigh in. He weighed in for the fight and made weight, but he was supposed to weigh in for the IBF as well. That's why he was only fighting for 2 belts on that night. If you looked at the belts, because it was supposed to be 3. But anyway, he didn't turn up for that IBF weigh-in. So that leads me to think that maybe he wanted more time to rehydrate to go there even bigger. And then what happened to him? He got dropped in the 4th. So really, size doesn't really matter that much, especially when you're against a technical power puncher such as GGG. But yes, he used to be the most feared fighter, but now everyone wants a piece of him. But looking like that, after a fight like that, with a face like that, James Gale might even be thinking about retirement, because he really looks beat up. But James Gale is in a position, he's got loads of options. And I checked his resume and he's only had 1 loss, and that was George Groves way back. Way back. So he's done well to get where he is. Even though the last 4 of his fights have been very close. Against Lucian Butane, too close for comfort. He was supposed to win that more easily, and it was a tough fight. Lucian Butane was hitting him with some combinations and hitting him hard. He gets into quite brawling matches where he gets beat up, but manages to win at the end. So yeah, Lucian Butane gave him a tough fight. Andre Dirrell gave him his tough fight. I think that was one of his toughest fights. If Badou Jack was his toughest fight, Andre Dirrell was his 2nd toughest fight. And guess what? Andre Dirrell still in the picture and will be his mandatory soon. So James DeGale is got impending dooms in the future. His impending doom could be against Andre Dirrell, but if he chooses to, if he wants to fight GGG, I think he's looking for a big payday. As I said about the money thing, it's a big payday. So he's got George Groves. If he decided to fight George Groves in June, say, because June is the date when he wants to fight. So if he fought George Groves, then that would be a big fight, because these two have got history, not just in pros and amateurs. James DeGale was an Olympic medalist, and George Groves was an elite amateur at that time. So back in the amateur days, they had some beef, had a fight, and then in pro it was a very competitive fight, and George Groves won that by a decision. So he would want to be getting his revenge back. He wouldn't need to move around the weights. He could just fight him at his current weight and get that over with. And if he won that, he could move on. So that's one big domestic fight there. Then he's also got another fight he could fight is because James DeGale likes to trash talk. So another person he could fight is Chris Eubanks. Chris Eubanks was also shouting at GGG as well. I made a video about it earlier because he was shouting at everyone. So that's another person in the middleweight, in his weight, that he could fight. And that's a big, I think stylistically that would be a good fight, because Chris Eubanks has very good work rate but not that much power, and James DeGale looks good in the first half of the fight and then fades off near the end. So who will win in that matchup would be very good to watch. So anyway, and if James DeGale was to beat Chris Eubanks, he could shut him up and stop him from showing off that belt, that IBO belt in clubs and schools, because that's what I hear him been doing, you know what I mean? Like, if it's WBO, IBF, WBA, WBC, it's different. If I was at school and I saw a WBA belt, I was like, yeah, can I touch it? But when I seen the IBO belt, I didn't even know what IBO belt was before he won it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Why is he doing that? Popping bottles with the IBO belt, going on like a champion. You're not a champion yet until you win one of those world belts. But you won a belt, so well done for winning that IBO belt. But go and win something else. Fight James DeGale. I think that would be a good fight. You and him, there's that ITV thing going on, that PPV thing, so that could be interesting. I don't know how much money's on the table, but yeah, that could be a good fight. But just look at this guy, man. Look at his face. Look at his face. His teeth got bust out. Man, he got really damaged in that fight. So what would he be like in the next fight? You know what I mean? He got into a brawl and the best man won. Well, the best man didn't win. Nobody lost that day. So he got beat up and nobody won. So hopefully now he wants to get into a fight, which is good. I rate him in terms of being out there saying I just want to fight anybody, but looking for the biggest paydays like everyone does. Yeah, I rate that. But at the same time, there's fights out there that are easier fights that you can get, because I don't think GGG is going to fight anyone in June. He's waiting for Canelo. So anyway, James the Gale shouting out GGG and Andre Ward. But I don't think either of those things are going to happen. But anyway, yeah, it's your boy D Valo. Tell me what you think about this fight, and what you think about James the Gale. Look how beat up he is. But anyway, this was then. It's your boy D Valo, and I'm out.